Wow. Woo! Hold on. Another day, another dollar, and I still ain't fixed my Segi headliner.
Make you wanna holler.
Bars. Today, we're gonna be talking about the best first mods to do to your GTI, in my opinion. All right. Now, I'm gonna go over what I did in those given topics and talk about, you know, the pros and cons. But before we get started, this technically should count as a mod, but I'm not gonna count it for the sake of the video because I'm trying to stick to 5. The number 1 mod, if you buy any Volkswagen, especially used, is maintenance. A lot of people buy these cars because they're like as cheap as, you know, like Honda Civics and shit like that, and they expect like Honda Civic reliability. And it's not to say that they are going to be like super problematic, but the cost of maintenance goes up ever so slightly, I feel like, compared to like a Civic or something like that. And a lot of people buy these cars, they don't do any research on them whatsoever, and then when some weird shit breaks and they don't know how to fix it, they start shitting on the cars. You should really start reading into things more before just making impulse decisions on something as expensive as a car. And yeah, a lot of people don't do that and shit on Volkswagens, when in reality, if they had read up on it, they'd probably know whatever issue they were complaining about was a known issue, and they probably would have never bought it. But you know, stupid people are going to be stupid. If you have a Mark 6 or a Mark 5, like the last 2-year models I think came with the TSI motor, make sure you get your timing chains done. Make sure you budget for a water pump replacement. If you have a DSG, make sure that if it's mostly stock, you do your fluid changes every 40,000 miles, and if there's no record of it being done, go ahead and knock that out. If you're tuned, I would do it every like 20 to 30. I wouldn't wait all the way to 40 if I was like modified. That's just me. But that's gonna be like the big ticket items, I guess. Valve cleanings, because you know these cars, they're direct injection, they get carbon buildup. That's something else to look out for. I mean, spark plugs you don't really got to worry about unless you're tuning, but yeah, that's the first like unofficial. We're not gonna count it, but like count it. You know what I'm saying? First mod should be maintenance. 2. So I think one of the most important modifications for these cars, for your GTI, is going to be ADB. There's a lot of different companies to choose from. They all do basically the same thing. Some companies might offer something, another one doesn't. You really just got to read into each one and figure out what works best for you. Also, you know, what goes on sale and who has the best customer support. It's a lot of factors. You basically just got to figure that shit out for yourself. But definitely an ECU tune. As far as what companies to choose from, personally, if you don't want to go through the trouble of like data logging and getting like a custom tune, you want a simple flash tune, hook it up, and you go on about your day, I feel like you can't do much better than APR. I mean, APR is kind of like the RPF ones of tuning when it comes to these cars. It's like simple, effective, good quality, run it, and you done. That's it. RPF ones, APR together. If you want like, you know, pops and bangs, crackle tunes, you know, like I got, I feel like you need to get yourself a cob action sport, one of these thingies. You can buy these used. You can buy these used for like $400, $450, $500 versus paying like $600, I think, new for one of these. On the forums all the time, if you buy one, make sure it is unmarried, because when you install these to your car, they lock to the ECU, and if the seller didn't unlock it before selling it, you won't be able to use it. You'll have to send it back to Cobb and pay a couple $100 to get it unmarried, and by that point you would have been better off just buying one new. So if you buy a Cobb access port used, make sure it's unmarried before you buy it. But yeah, if you want to go this route or this route, I recommend either going with stratified, sneaky tuned, I don't know if EQT makes Mark 6 software or anything like that. I don't know if they tune for these cars. I'm sure they could have. I don't know. But if you're a Mark 7 guy, definitely EQT. But all those companies, I'm pretty sure they offer like the crackle tunes, the pops and bangs. I know Stratified doesn't do anything with like flames or anything. I don't know about the other companies either. That might be something for you to read into, but I don't know about the flames. But I know if you want a more custom tune specifically tailored to your setup, and you want pops and bangs, and there's also other benefits of the Cobb access port. Or one of the most useful features of the Cobb access port is that you can also use it to read and clear codes. You can data log with it, like I just said. You can also read different bits of info instead of buying a separate gauge for everything and trying to figure out how to wire it up and place it somewhere. It's a very useful tool. So don't think it's just solely for just, you know, loading up the tunes. Like on mine, you can see, hold on, you can see, trying to get a good angle. You can see like, actually, I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. I don't know, fuck it. You'll be able to, you can see like on mine, you can see like my AFRs, my coolant temp, I think that's down there. I don't have my glasses on. You can see like my boost, you can see your air intake temps, and then you can see like your knock and like your oil temp, stuff like that. A lot of cool stuff. And you can monitor basically every fucking thing the ECU can monitor. Very useful tool, very easy. Makes it a lot easier to see what exactly is going on with your car. Makes you a lot more aware of things, and you can see it in live, you know, it's live recording. You can also record like your 0 to 60 times, and like I said, you can switch tunes. You can read and clear codes. You can do a lot of stuff with this Cobb access port. It's very useful. But if you're not someone that cares about this kind of stuff, you just want to buy a flash tune and be done with it, APR, that's what I'd go with. Or maybe integrated engineering, if I had to decide. If you're a DSG guy, please don't think about it, just do it. Get a DSG tune. I'm running the Eurodyne Stage 2 flash file just because it was the cheapest. If I had to do it again, I would either go with, I think it's TVS or integrated engineering. I've heard nothing but good things about their DSG tune for these cars. If that was me, that's who I would go with. The main benefits of a DSG tune is that they optimize your shift points, because like in Mark 6s with the DSG, drive shifts too quick, and then sports mode holds the gears too long stock. And with most of these DSG tunes, they changed the shift mapping, and so it works a lot better with modified or tweaked software, like a tune or whatever. And it pairs a lot better once you get tuned, and you also get like increased clamping pressures for the extra power you're making. It removes like speed limiters and stuff like that. A lot of cool stuff. Don't think about it. If your ECU is tuned, get a TCU tune. If you're manual, save up for a clutch. You're gonna need it one way or another. Get a clutch. Next thing is gonna be an intake. I put the intake stuff last solely because you don't need mods to do like a stage 1 tune on these cars. You don't need an intake or a downpipe technically. So I put the tune first, and then we're just working our way down. Definitely get an intake. If you're a fan of turbo noises, you need an intake. It completely changes the driving experience. I can't speak so much as for gains because I don't have any technical data to provide to you, but there might be something there, there might not. But the noises alone are worth it on turbo cars. Downpipe, probably my favorite mod to do on these cars. There's a lot of different setups you can go with. There's a lot of different companies. People are gonna shit on me for it, but I went with a eBay catless downpipe because I didn't want the cat anymore, and I figured at that point there's no point in spending, you know, $300, $400, maybe even $500 on a catless downpipe, when at the end of the day, the quality of metal and the quality of the welds are different, but at the end of the day, it's all just hollow metal piping. And I got that downpipe. I actually did a video on it. I put it right there. I paid like $100 for my eBay downpipe, eBay catless downpipe, and it's held up for 15,000, 20,000 miles now. definitely get a downpipe, especially if you want to go stage 2, bro. It's a necessity. It's also great for sound. It really changes how these cars sound a lot. Again, helps with those turbo noises. And if you decide to get like a pops and bangs tune or whatever, and you're on your stock downpipe, you might blow that cat out. So it might be best to just go ahead and get a catless downpipe anyways. But yeah, definitely get a downpipe. There are gains to be had with it, especially once you're tuned, because the stock cat is pretty restrictive, I feel like. And once you're tuned, it's just not going to flow well. You're not going to get the same gains. So I definitely think a downpipe is worth it. There's a lot of reputable companies out there. I mean, I heard good things about CTS's downpipe. APR, actually, I don't even know if APR even sells their downpipes anymore. I've heard good things about the ARM one if you're on a budget and you still want like some decent quality. But yeah, I'm running an eBay special and it's working for me. Yeah, moving on. The next best first mod, or the next best mod you could do as far as like first mods go for these cars, would be lowering springs. I also did a video on that. But if you can't really afford like some quality coilovers and you just want to get a little bit lower for as cheap as possible, get you some lowering springs, like from a reputable company like H&R. A couple of companies make them, but I'm running H&R Super Sport springs on my car, and I mean, they're a little bit firmer than stock, but like they ride pretty damn good. Like it feels pretty good, you know. I don't have many complaints about it, and it got the car a good bit lower. You know what I'm saying? I just ordered coilovers finally, so the front still sits too high for me. That's why I went on ahead and ordered coilovers, but I rode on these lowering springs for damn near a year. Actually, it's actually been a little over a year. Or no, I ran on these lowering springs for damn near a year, a little over a year. And I ain't got no real complaints about them. They served their purpose for me. They work for me, so. If you want, I understand that everybody doesn't want that whole slam look. Everybody doesn't want to fucking scrape everywhere they go. H&R Super Springs, that's what I'm running, and I'm still able to creep over like pretty big speed bumps. I ain't got nothing to complain about. The last big thing I want to focus on is the intercooler, because I see so many people like on the Facebook groups and whatnot asking about which intercooler to run, because a lot of people want a front mount. And see, here's the thing with the front mount, because I run a front mount. Nigga, don't buy that new speed front mount intercooler that's like $700 or $800, bro. It's not worth it. It's so bad. The new speed intercooler, anything past like a KO4, and I don't think I wouldn't bother. If you're planning on like big turbo eventually, I would not bother. I would much rather save my money and go with the ARM front mount intercooler. If you have to have a front mount intercooler and you don't want to do like any cutting or chopping anything up, mocking shit up to make it fit, I would just go with the ARM front mount. And that's what I run. It works great for stock turbo stage 2 power, and I'm sure it'll hold up just fine for like a KO4 or an F23 turbo setup, you know, like a hybrid KO4. But since I do plan to go big turbo eventually, that core's probably not going to hold up. So what I plan to do is just keep my stock piping and run like a treadstone front mount and just cut my crash bar up to make it fit. But yeah, as far as front mounts go, either get you some piping custom made and just go with the treadstone and cut up your fucking crash bar, or go with the ARM and just replace the core later if you ever go big turbo. The ARM front mount and the new speed front mount, they're both good for stock turbo and KO4 cars, not so good for big turbos. So yeah, if you want to stay front mount and go big turbo, you're probably going to need a treadstone, or you could be smart about it and just get a stock location intercooler. I'm not smart. I wanted a front mount, so I got a front mount. APR, CTS, Integrated Engineering, there's a bunch of different companies that make stock location intercoolers, because if you didn't know, the intercoolers on these cars, they're wedged in between the radiator and I think the AC condenser. So they're kind of a bitch to replace, but they have a much larger surface area, and that's kind of how they were designed to work from the factory. So just putting a larger one in place really is a lot more effective than like these ARM and New Speed front mount intercoolers. If you want to do it once the simple way, well, it's not really simple, but if you want to just go ahead and knock it out and never have to worry about it again, I would just do like a stock location intercooler. Yeah, you don't get the cool factor of having a front mount, but the stock location is definitely a more effective option, and it should work better than both the ARM and the New Speed intercooler. That's why I say don't buy the New Speed. If you want a front mount, go with ARM or get a Treadstone, because the New Speed, it's like $700, I think, and Treadstone setup shouldn't cost you no more than like $500, like getting the intercooler piping welded and all that shit. It shouldn't cost you no more than that. And I think the ARM front mount, it goes on sale all the time for like $400, $450. So it's up to you and what your goals are. But that's the intercooler setups, and I run the ARM. Regardless of what people say on the internet, mine works great. I'm able to look at my air intake temps. That what you had saw on my Cobb access port was it idling after like 10 or 15 minutes, so of course it's high. But it works really good for me on my stock turbo, but I already know it's not gonna hold up when I go big turbo. But yeah, I think those are probably some of the best first mods you can do to this car. But yeah. So I think I'm gonna end it there. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I hope y'all have a good day. Peace out.